Unconditional love.
She gonna call me a liar, a cheater, and a gaslighter. I don't be cheating. If you really love me, you wouldn't be saying those things.
Unconditional love is not designated for grown men. Unconditional love is designated and designed for children, not grown men who are responsible for themselves. Why are we having a conversation about unconditional love? What does that even mean?
I broke off a proposal because I asked him if he believed in conditional love or if he believed in unconditional love. And he responded with, the only type of love that exists is conditional love.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. You can support uncensored conversations via Cash App or buying your girl a coffee. I just want to give a quick shout out to my first Faye ambassador. Shout out to Nefertiti. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to sign up for memberships or sign up to be an ambassador as well to receive a shout out, the link will be in the description down below. Hey y'all, I just wanted to pop in here and have the conversation about how the idea of unconditional love is extremely manipulative. Essentially, you have a lot of people out here getting on these internets and saying, well, I want someone to love me unconditionally. Love me unconditionally. You should love me at my worst. You should love me unconditionally. And oftentimes, these very same people have terrible personalities.
So you know how people say, if you don't love me and accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best? Well, I call BS. That's kind of a dumpster fire of a comment. If you are behaving at your worst, nobody else deserves that. Now, if you're talking about like you got sick or, something, that's the worst, or you're grieving, then yeah. Okay, if someone can't hang with you through an illness or life's events, they don't deserve you at your best. But most of the time when I hear people say this, it's because they're an asshole. And they're making an excuse. If you don't like me and love me and accept me at my worst, you don't deserve my best. Don't be an asshole. Then we won't even have to have this conversation.
These people are some of the most selfish, despicable people you could ever come across. And they're talking about how you need to love them unconditionally. Understand, that phrase has been bastardized all the way to hell. People use that as a way to get you to have unlimited tolerance. People hear unconditional and they think, well, you need to accept everything. You need to forgive everything and stay no matter what. But that's not really love. That's just having no boundaries and allowing someone to walk all over you and treat you like a doormat.
No one who's planning on respecting you and treating you well is going to be upset that you love them conditionally. Unconditional love is only a requirement from people who are going to put that unconditional love into practice. You are going to be practicing that act of unconditional love for them on a day-to-day basis. And even though they may not be actively trying your unconditional love on that specific day, you are going to have to internally know that they have been working your unconditional love. And it's like, unconditional love or conditional love doesn't mean that they should have unconditional access to you and your love.
Unconditional love should still require healthy boundaries. It doesn't mean that you're going to stick around and allow someone to treat you any old kind of way because you love them. Absolutely not. The healthy version of this means that you care about someone's well-being. You love them. You don't switch your love on and off over small things. That's what unconditional love truly is. What it doesn't mean, if you love me, then you'll tolerate this. Well, if you loved me, then you'll forgive this. Well, I guess you don't really love me because you're not allowing me to walk all over you and treat you any old kind of way. And this very phrase, it gets weaponized in all kinds of relationships. It gets weaponized in romantic relationships. It gets weaponized in parental relationships with your siblings. It gets weaponized in friendships. People really love to throw that out there the moment you try to assert a boundary.
A child does not owe you unconditional love. I obviously make videos about how I don't want kids, and I will get comments being like, I just want that unconditional love from a child. I want to be a parent for that unconditional love. A child does not owe you anything. You chose to bring them in here, okay? They did not ask to be here. They genuinely don't owe you anything. Oh, but I do everything for them, like blah, blah, blah. That is your job as a parent. You chose to take on that role. A child genuinely does not owe you anything. I don't know where this notion came in that having a child automatically equals unconditional love from them to you. It doesn't. Obviously, the bond between a parent and a child is like so deep, obviously, but there are conditions to it. If you do not treat that child well, if you are not a good parent, if you do not treat them as humans, if you are abusive and neglectful and just a bad parent, you are not going to have that unconditional love. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost, okay? Because if you are having a child to feel that unconditional love, I don't know what to tell you, but I fear that your little dream might be broken because they don't owe you anything. And if you are already under the mindset that they do owe you things, baby, that unconditional love isn't coming.
Watch out for these phrases. If you love me, then you wouldn't. You're supposed to accept me as I am. They love saying that. You should accept me as I am, even if the person that you are is fucking terrible. Even if the person that you are is manipulative and selfish and completely dismissive. No, you should accept me as I am. What that really means is do not hold me accountable. People who throw out that love me unconditionally, more times than not, what they truly mean is do not hold me accountable when I wrong you. If you love me, then you won't hold me accountable. You'll just accept that I am the way I am and accept that I'm going to treat you like a dog. The fact of the matter is, you can love somebody and still reject his poor behavior. You can love somebody and still assert a boundary. There are a lot of people out there that after growing up, getting therapy and really analyzing their childhood have chosen to go no contact with their parents. And for some, maybe it is because they actually hate their parents' guts. But for others, they still love their parents, but they know that they have boundaries that they need to maintain, and their parent just will never respect their boundaries. So in order to protect themselves, in order to take care of themselves, they're choosing to have that boundary of, look, we're just not going to interact anymore. I still love you and wish you the best, but it's not going to work out for me. And that gets misconstrued as, well, you should just love me as I am. So you should just tolerate that I'm this way. You should just tolerate that I'm that way. And that somehow them having that boundary of just not wanting to subject themselves to mistreatment as, oh, well, you don't love me anymore. You just don't love me anymore. That's not entirely the case. You can love somebody from a distance, okay? You could love somebody long distance. You could love somebody and understand that that person is not a good influence on your life and choose to prioritize protecting yourself, still wishing that person the best, but protecting yourself by not allowing that person into your space. But people with this manipulative idea of love, they will throw having boundaries in your face.
Hey friends, so let's talk about the fact that people that are codependent really rely on that term unconditional love. People that really think that they can just get away with doing anything that they want because, you know, my partner's not going to really throw me out. They love me unconditionally. Like, they will weaponize that against their partner. I think a lot of codependent people, or people that try to take advantage of codependent people, really weaponize that term unconditional love, because then, you know, they can do literally whatever they want. You don't owe anyone unconditional love, dude. Your children, yeah, but you don't owe your partner unconditional love. If they are doing you wrong over and over and over again, girl, pull the love back. What? If your partner can't stay loyal to you, why the hell are you staying in love with them? Get out of love. Even if you do still love them, don't give them access to you if they're consistently hurting you. Like, cut them off. I'm telling you, there are some people who use that term unconditional love and they will try to see how much they can get away with. It's like a game to them.
Having self-respect is not conditional love. If I have boundaries about my life and who I want in it, that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't love people whom I'm not going to allow to violate my boundaries. The whole idea, the whole concept of you should love me unconditionally, it's used to scapegoat other people's lines in the sand. Because you want to violate that person and you feel like they should just shut up and take it, then you're going to say, well, why don't you just love me unconditionally? It's always the folks that want to treat people poorly throwing around this concept of unconditional love. because they want to be able to get away with it. They want to be able to get away with treating you poorly. Unconditional love, it gets used to dodge apologies, to dodge change, to dodge growth. If nothing you do has a consequence, why would you even think about improving? And honestly, it creates a one-sided relationship. You have one person that forgives. You have one person that's always giving. You have one person that's always adjusting, while the other person takes, repeats toxic behavior, and then faces no consequences. They're not willing to give anything. They're not willing to change even the slightest bit. They're not willing to consider the other person, but they expect the other person to consider them. And that's not love. That's imbalance. It enables bad behavior. If every action gets excused, toxic patterns continue, standards drop, and respect completely erodes. And oftentimes these same people, they will use guilt as a control tactic because they know you actually do love them. So they try to guilt you by using your love for them against you. Oh, well, you don't love me if you leave me. You don't love me if you do this. I guess you don't love me anymore. They use that to guilt you into doing what they want. They frame protecting yourself, having boundaries and respect for yourself as a betrayal to them. I'm gonna be honest. The folks that sit over there and tolerate it, they are a ticking time bomb. If you're constantly tolerating disrespect, instability, broken promises, mistreatment, then you are going to become emotionally exhausted and you're going to ultimately resent that person. And that resentment can turn into so many negative outcomes. Resentment is one of those things that you want to avoid like the plague when it comes to your relationships, friendships, all of that.
One of the most selfish things anybody could say is, if you loved me, you would, whatever. Whether you joking or dead ass, that is not something to say to somebody. Love is not an end all be all. Love is not a fixer. Love is not a feeling. Love is a choice. So give me an ultimatum to do something that I don't want to do, and loving you is selfish as fuck. And I promise you, fucking with me, you will not get the results you want. I will leave your ass high and dry every time. Love is not a reward. It is a reciprocated choice. Okay? So do not try to put it on me like I'm doing you a favor or you doing me a favor by loving me. Okay? Y'all need to seek help. If you talk about, oh, if you love me, you would. Nah, bitch, I don't. You right.
Love does not mean access. You can care about someone. You can wish them well while still limiting contact and walking away. Healthy love has standards. Real love includes respect, reciprocity, and accountability. If someone loves you, then they want to make sure that their behaviors are not causing you pain unnecessarily. Because look, sometimes doing for self does mean that the other person gets less. If they're doing things intentionally to hurt you and harm you, that's not real love. And if they're begging you to tolerate them disrespecting you and mistreating you, that is also not love. Real love does not mean endless tolerance for BS. Ask yourself, what am I tolerating in the name of love? Without boundaries, unconditional love just becomes a free pass to treat the other person like trash. You can love someone and still say, you don't get access to me like this. You don't get to mistreat me. You don't get to treat me any old kind of way just because I love you. So please be wary. If someone throws around that unconditional love phrase and it's all in an effort to get you to tolerate some nonsense that they themselves would not tolerate from you. Keep that in mind when you run across these people, because understand this whole concept of unconditional love, it is a manipulation tactic, and it is in the effort to manipulate you into tolerating some bullshit, to allowing somebody to mistreat you and disregard you and dispose of you, all in the name of unconditional love. But y'all, I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. How do you feel about this whole situation? Do you agree with me where it's like, yeah, a lot of the times when people bring up the phrase unconditional love, it's all in an effort to manipulate and misuse and abuse people? Or do you disagree with me where it's like,
I didn't want to be, she wanted to, I said no.
I am curious to hear you guys' thoughts down below. If you like the video, like the video. The more you interact with it, the more it gets pushed down to the algorithm. Also, hype the video if that function is available. If you're feeling a little extra generous, the link is in the description to buy your girl a coffee. Thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all with the next one. Deuces.